time do I need to see Kruger? First time safari.
It depends how much you want to see and what your expectations are. But I recommend 3 days minimum in a park. 4 or 5 days is good. If I can spend a month there, I would. But it's everyone's individual time restraint and how much time you want to spend on doing other things. But yeah, 4 days I would say is a good average.
Okay, that sounds good. Then once you're in the park, what sort of options are there for accommodation? Like, is it going to be staying in tents, or is it all hotels, or how does it work?
There are no hotels in Kruger, but pretty good lodging. Lodges have been privatised recently, so they're offering really good facilities. Some are basic chalets, some are tented camps, all within the South African National Parks perimeter. So the camps still fall under the same parks, but they privately run, and therefore you're able to get some experience in all the different camps. I wouldn't spend all 3 or 4 nights at one specific camp. I would consider moving. There's also the option of camping. Great electrified campsites, mostly grass campsites. So if you're a little bit more adventurous, pack in a tent. Go and see it the rough way.
If you are travelling on your own, as you recommend, to the park, do you need to take all your food and everything in beforehand, or are there restaurants and shops that you can buy things at?
There are restaurants and shops you can buy things at, although the shops, the food is quite pricey. So if you have got a cool box or facilities to take food with you, I'd suggest buying some food before you go into the park. The lodges or the chalets have got everything that you need in the form of a braai. We call it a braai in this country, but it's more commonly known as a barbecue. And all the cooking facilities you need, all fully catered for. So you can pretty much cater for yourself within your lodge, or you can go to the restaurant and they offer 3 meals a day as well.
Okay, great. What's your favourite place in the Kruger Park?
Wow, has to be greatest camp experience to me is probably Lower Sabi, although the better park, the better region would be the Kruger region, which is far north.
Why the Kruger region?
Less populated, better birding. When I say populated, there's less people. Less people travel so far north to get there. Most of the people travel in the southern region. It's a lot more accessible and a lot more targeted to the tourism market, whereas the northern regions, northern camps don't see a lot of the international tourists. They see a lot more of the local people. And there are some fever tree forests out there that look stunning, really, really beautiful, which is the home to a lot of bird life, which is great.
What's the best time of year for Kruger Park?
There's never a bad time to go to any park, in my opinion. You're always going to have a different experience. But if you're a first timer and you really want to make it worth your while and you haven't travelled to the region before, go in the winter months.
When is the
winter?
winter?
The winter months here is starting April, May, and then right through to November. It's all good. Before the rain starts coming through.
You need to have a 4x4 in the Kruger Park.
No, you don't need to have a four-wheel drive, but it isn't advisable to have an SUV or a vehicle that is of high ground clearance. The height assists you in your game viewing. If you have a low car low to the ground, you're going to struggle to see a lot of wildlife for obvious reasons. Whereas on an SUV or a vehicle that's got a bigger frame structure, you can see a lot further than even a microbus or a passenger carrier can really work well.
When you're in the park, do you have to stay in your vehicle at all times, or can you get out to see the animals?
If you're in the camps, that's fine, get out your car, but do not ever get out your car when you're in the park. That's a very, very big rule in the park. No one does it for obvious reasons. There have been incidents where people aren't aware of this, and I emphasize this a lot. Please do not get out of your car, because you don't know what's lurking behind that bush.
Now, I have heard people have told me that they do walking safaris. Is that the same thing, getting out your vehicle, or how do the walking safaris?
Well, the walking safari is guided. Okay, so you don't just walk on your own when they say walking safari. You book into a specific camp that is catered for. Well, you can get a walking safari pretty much in any camp nowadays. But what happens there is the guide assists you, and he's got rifles, and he takes a tracker as well, and between the two of them they protect you from any. They also know the bush, they understand the bush, they do not walk you into private lines, they know where to take you, where not to take you. So it's a controlled environment, and it's very interesting to do a walk if you haven't done one.